Hi, I'm Roy, and 2 years ago I bought the 2008 Saab 9.3 Sports Estate. And since then a lot has changed on the car and I expect a lot more will change. And since I recently started documenting some of those changes on YouTube, I thought it would make sense to provide a small introduction about me, the car and the plans going forward. So, about me. I work for a large online retailer in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, which is also where I live, and in my spare time I like to tinker with stuff. And when I bought the Saab, of course that very quickly became somewhat of a project car. Let's start at buying the car. When my Renault Clio broke down 2 years ago, I had to find a new car and I quickly landed on finding a Saab 9.3. So why Saab? I love the brand, it has a lot of history, it has a lot of drama, but it also has a penchant for creating fast cars that are quite practical as well. I love how they look and I sort of love the community around it. Already was following some YouTubers that work on Saabs, so that was definitely the first brand I started looking for. Then why the Sports Estate? I really like the Estate or wagon body style. I think they combine practicality with a lot of possible speed, and the fact that you can take them to move a friend on Saturday and then make a nice drive on Sunday really appeals to me. And also at that moment I was following some YouTube content from for example Mighty Car Mods, who had the Supergrams series where they built this Subaru wagon. And of course that's a different brand, but all the reasons they stated for loving the Estate body type appealed to me as well. So I started looking for that car and quickly found one in North Brabant, a blue one, a 1.8T, and I bought it. So, the engine. The 1.8T is a bit of a weird one. Basically the 1.8T, the 2.0T and the 2.0 uppercase T all share the same 2-liter base engine. The difference between the lowercase t's and the uppercase T is the turbo, the airbox and some of the stuff surrounding it, which gives it a lot more power over a longer power band. But the 1.8T and the 2.0T with the lowercase t both have the same low pressure turbo, they are just tuned differently. And I already knew when I bought it that it could be tuned to 2.0T levels or further. So of course when I bought it, that was the first thing I started looking into. Who could tune a Saab? And I quickly landed on DionHPT.nl, Dion, who is I guess the Dutch absolute Saab tuning legend. I contacted him, made an appointment, and he was able to confirm that we could tune the car, and he tuned it to I think around 230 horsepower, but then the clutch started slipping. So he had to tune it back to I think 195 horsepower, because that's where it didn't slip, still drove comfortably and was still a really nice upgrade of 45 horsepower. But of course I also had in the back of my mind, that the clutch was going bad. So I contacted Peter Heines, a Saab mechanic near Eindhoven, and he replaced the clutch with a heavier duty one, basically the Aero clutch, which is able to handle way more horsepower. So I went back to Dion and he gave me the full 230 something horsepower. I was really happy with the performance, but I also knew there was an upgrade possibility, because if I could get my hands on a high pressure turbo, we could go further. And I found one of those turbos on saabforum.nl, bought it, and contacted Dion to ask if he knew someone who could install it for me. And he referred me to Keiko, a car shop run by two brothers north of Utrecht, who are very well versed in Saabs and tuning as a whole. So I made an appointment to install the turbo as well as a Dion provided intercooler upgrade. And in the days leading up to that, I found and installed an airbox upgrade myself, which was surprisingly easy to do and was basically the missing link, or would become the missing link if I didn't upgrade it. Went to Keiko, and after that was able to go back to Dion to ask for the full tune. And I got the full tune. It has a ton of power now. How much power? Enough to cause it to wheel spin in first and second gear. Enough to cause the eSID2, which is a small device you plug into your ODB sensor, to claim it's running around 284 horsepower, 410 newton meters, which I think is a little bit too much on the bright side. I think it's actually a fair bit lower than that, but even if it lands between 260 to 270 horsepower, it's still a really nice upgrade. I also took it to the Autobahn, reached 250 kilometers an hour quite comfortably. And of course this is the point where you're supposed to say it could have gone way faster if only I had the sort of road in front of me. I don't know if it could have gone way faster, like it got there quite comfortably, but I cannot imagine it going way past 250 kilometers an hour. But it still drove really nicely, really comfortable, really fast, so it's a great travel companion. Really happy with the way it's tuned right now. By then I also found some Ali 65 rims, which definitely improved the look of the car. So, does that mean it was done? No, because I also felt the interior could use an upgrade. It came with the flat, non-sport seats. I contacted Veltec, a company in Drachten, again run by a really nice guy, and he was able to install an upgraded interior with sport seats, electrically powered of course, so that upgrade was done. I also found and installed a steering wheel upgrade, found and installed a leather dashboard, leather door handles, I shortened the shifter rod, installed a new shifter boot, and I also replaced the head unit of the audio system. My car already came with an upgraded head unit, a Kenwood thing, aftermarket thing. It was old, outdated. I replaced it with a joying system, so a Chinese manufacturer, which works quite well actually. It's an Android car radio, really happy with it. I also replaced the two front speakers in the dashboard because those provide a lot of the sound that you actually hear when you play music, and they are quite bad in the bass system. And I also installed a subwoofer below the trunk floor with a remote that goes entirely to the front and is available to me in the center console. Then I installed a rear view camera, installed a auto dimming mirror that comes from a Cadillac BLS, but well, you might know that's basically the same car as a Saab 9-3, so it's plug and play. Then I had a near accident with a taxi who cut me off, and I thought I had to invest in safety. The first thing I did is buy a dash cam so I could prove that whenever I had an accident it was not my fault. And the second is that I thought about upgrading the brakes. My car came with the base brakes, which is 278mm in the back, non-slotted, non-ventilated, and I think 292 in the front. I contacted Keiko again, asked them for possible upgrade options, and they said, well, the best thing you could probably do is go for the Aero brakes, which is 340mm and provides a nice upgrade, and also upgrade the brake hoses to braided metal. So I made an appointment to do that, and the week before that I rented a car lift, and me and my brother replaced the brake rotors and brake pads in the rear because they were almost end of life, wouldn't be upgraded, but I had to have new ones there anyway. It was a nice experience to do that. Also being helped by my brother really helped. A week later then the front brakes were replaced and upgraded, and I can definitely say that improved braking massively, so I feel a lot safer in the car now. Then the exterior, I also installed a strut brace, Maptoon strut brace below the hood, which definitely helps rigidity somewhat. I also found and installed a Hears grill, which I'm really happy with. And also I spray painted the fog light surrounds to make it look a little bit more like an Aero, which I maybe wouldn't do again. Like from a distance it looks fine, but the closer you get to it, the better you see it spray painted basically. Then, future plans. First, my car is sagging in the back a little bit. Every time I go over a speed bump, you have this effect of the car sagging a lot basically. So I'm going to have to replace the struts, the springs somewhere in the future. It's not unsafe yet, but it's definitely due for an upgrade. So I bought the Bilstein B8 strut kit and also Eibach Pro kit springs. The Eibach is already there, the Bilstein I'm still waiting for. We're also going to be replacing the sway bar end links because we'll have to undo them anyway, and they tend to go bad after a number of kilometers, so we can change them anyway. I really hope the upgrade helps remedy the sagging situation and also fixes the whining sound I have from the rear right whenever it's cold out and I drive away. I also have a few other plans, one of which involves finding a Hears rear spoiler. I would really like to have it, but I'm not the only one who would like that. They are very hard to find. Whenever I will find one, I will try to buy it and install it. Also, the car has a ton of misfires. I suspect it could be the spark plugs, but they are not too old, so I expect the ignition coils to be bad. Well, they tend to do that after a number of kilometers, so it's fine. I will buy new ones and replace it, and also, of course, record that and put it on YouTube. One last thing, or two last things basically, is that the window regulator on the rear left is going bad, so you can hear it like snapping, the cable snapping into place on every rotation. I already bought a new regulator, it's in the trunk, I have to find the time to replace it. And last but not least, the locks on the rear left as well as on the fuel filler flap work some of the time, and some of the time they don't, so I have new ones on the way and will replace that as well. Then, some closing remarks about this video. I'm not planning to be the next Mighty Car Mods, to be honest. It's just I like learning new stuff, editing videos, putting them online, and all the things surrounding it is a new thing for me. Really enjoy learning it, and if I can along the way provide some value to fellow Saab enthusiasts, well, would be really nice. I don't expect 100,000 views, so I'm already really happy that you're here and that you watched until the end of the video. So thank you for that, and I'll see you next time.